Let's talk some golf. We bring in local PGA Tour pro and brand new daddy. That would be Scott Stallings. Scott, Vince, and Jesse, congratulations. Scott, how you doing?
Thank you guys for having me on. I'm doing great. I just got done working out over at D1, and for some reason I can't quite get Jesse in there with me.
Hey, I'm doing pretty well. Last 5 or 6 days, I've given up sodas, given up fast food.
Wow.
I'm making my way back into the gym, trying to shed a little bit of that excess weight, and then I'll get in there. I'm going to knock it out for you.
All right, we'll see. Right? Y'all hold it to him.
Let's just talk about, like Vince said, being a new daddy. Your baby Finn is a week old now. What's it been like this last week, or really last 2 or 3 weeks for you?
It's been pretty incredible, man. No one can really people can describe it to you and try to give you an idea of really how it is to be a father for the first time, and but until you actually experience, you don't really actually know what they're talking about. So it was awesome. Jen's doing great. Finn's doing awesome, and but the last couple of weeks it's just been being at the house. I practiced and played a little bit, but mostly just trying to be there for them as much as they possibly can, because I'm getting ready to get on the road next week and try to enjoy as much time at home as I can.
Scott, you really, since you've been on the PGA Tour back at the start of 2011, have not experienced a normal start to a PGA Tour season. Back in 2011, you missed, your first 5 or 6 cuts, and last year you had the rib injury, and then this year you had the baby on the way. How hard was it to concentrate the early part of this season, knowing that anytime your wife could go into labor?
I did all right the first 3-4 weeks. Kind of towards the end of Torrey Pines, Jen was out through, she went to the first 2 Hawaii events, so the first 2 events weren't that bad, but Phoenix, I've never played with my phone on in my golf bag before, and that's kind of a nerve-wracking experience, especially. There wasn't really a risk of Jen going into labor, but, I mean, it's always in the back of your mind. So every 2 or 3 holes, I was checking my phone. All right, she had the baby, she's going into labor, because I said, man, I'm not going to miss it. And, in hindsight, I probably shouldn't have played, but, it was something I had to learn. But it's definitely a unique start to the season, but, I wouldn't have had it any other way.
You finally make some cuts out there on the West Coast, and what did that do for you confidence-wise to know you can play in different parts of the region and of the country and compete?
I mean, it's good. I mean, we worked hard this offseason. It was nice to get out early and have an opportunity to win and learn from that whole experience and kind of, know what you got to do to get better in those certain situations and this and that. But, we kind of, we were happy that, to get off to a somewhat decent start and, be ready for the Florida swing coming up here in a couple weeks. But, I mean, the biggest part was to go out there, play some tournaments. My new caddy, Frank, and I, we've been 9 events together now. So, we're kind of getting our feet under us a little bit, kind of learning how each other works and this and that. So, it was all positive. But, the biggest, most important part is my baby's healthy, my wife is healthy, and, I'm healthy. So we're excited and ready to go.
Back to the Humana tournament that you ended up tying for 4th and missed out on that playoff. Number one, was it important for you and your new caddy to kind of go through that experience and see what you guys could improve on? And number two, just do golfers approach tournaments like that? Like you heard John Calipari say this past weekend he wasn't going to go back and watch the tape. Do you go back and kind of relive kind of your failures and see what you could have done better?
Yes and no. I mean, you can kind of go through it in hypotheticals and this and that, but, realistically, the people around me and stuff like that, we try to talk in hypotheticals as little as possible. I mean, so much of my schedule and so much of my life is kind of up in the air based on how you play, so you try to eliminate that as much as you possibly can. But at the end of the day, and people, ask me in the interview, well, were you surprised that ball went in the water? No, I wasn't surprised. When you have winning on the PGA Tour is one of the hardest things to do in the world, and when you have opportunities, you got to go out there and be aggressive. You can't shy away from it, and you got to go out there and accept the consequences. And I knew very well, what I was taking on and this and that, and I was going to be aggressive in the tournament right there. And when the ball went in the water, I mean, that was a risk that I understood going into it, and I could have played it 1,000 different ways, but that was something that I've seen so many guys lose tournaments by just trying to play safe and trying to just get themselves in a position to get into a playoff, and that's really what we weren't trying to do that.
And as far as your new caddy, just kind of fill everybody in on who that is and how well you guys are working together so far.
I mean, we've done great. He's a huge asset to me. I mean, he's caddied on the PGA Tour as long as I've been alive. And he caddied for Davis Love and Stuart Sink. Caddied for Stuart Sink for 14 years, and Stuart's a really good friend of mine. And they kind of moved on, and Stuart was pretty instrumental in making sure Frank and I got together. And, it's been awesome ever since. Visiting
with Scott Stallings, PGA Tour pro from Oak Ridge, joining us here on the new Sentinel sports page. Vince Ferrara, Jesse Smithey. So obviously he's been around, Scott, but how does that work to I guess, one, decide on a new caddy, and two, finding the right guys, or an interview process? How does that work?
Man, it's a lot of players putting former caddies and new caddies together. And obviously Stuart, I changed management companies last year, and Stuart's a part of it. And we became good friends my rookie year, and he's really been instrumental as far as just kind of helping me, kind of like Kenny Perry has as well, just encouraging me, helping me to learn as much as I possibly can, and from guys like that. And the caddy process is pretty weird because there's no real resume or anything like that. It's all based off of who knows you and who kind of vouch for you and so on. And I mean, needless to say, man, my caddy before was incredible, but it's just hard not to pass up an opportunity. A guy that he's been in 14 President's Cup, Ryder Cups, been with two guys in the top 10 in the world, and and he's been where I want to be. And so you're only going to get there by having guys that have been there. So that's really what kind of led me to make the decision.
Scott, talk about that upcoming Florida swing, and what are some things you're looking forward to in those weeks?
Man, get back to work. Kind of got my family settled. The first week of being a new father and having a new addition to the family couldn't have gone any better. My son's happy, healthy. My wife is doing great, and we got some family in town. My mom, grandmother, everyone's kind of enjoying the new little addition to our family. So, that's kind of all settled down now. Everyone's just kind of enjoying. I couldn't imagine not having him. And now it's, I talked to my wife last night. It's kind of back to work, and I'm practicing playing again, and just kind of getting back doing the things that you need to do to play on the PGA Tour. And that's really what I'm most excited about. I've never played in the Honda. My rookie year didn't get in. Last year I was hurt. So it's a great event. Obviously, we're going to be a great field, and but more or less, man, just excited to get back on the golf course and see what I got.
The Hondo Classic is, I think, February 28th to March 3rd. And, Scott, I talked with Wes Roach, who went to Webb School in Knoxville, played golf at Duke. He said he's going to try to Monday qualify into that. He's on the Webb.com tour along with Philip Pettit, a former Vol. There's so many local guys that are just right there on the cusp of maybe joining you on the PGA Tour. Talk about some of those guys that you know well, and maybe who do you think could possibly get up there someday with you?
Pettit is one of my, really good buddies, a practice partner of mine when he lived in Knoxville, and one of my better friends. And, you can't say enough about his game and the potential that he has. We were, emailing back and forth and this and that, and he finally got down to Panama the first event of the year, and his clubs won't be there till Tuesday night. So that's a tough start for him at the beginning of the season. But, he's a great player and some guy that really has the potential to do great. Wes and I have gotten really close this off season. We work out almost every single day together and practice a lot. We have the same coach in Brad Rose, and man, to see the change in him in a year has been pretty incredible. From somewhat immature guy coming out of college, you kind of caught lightning in a bottle and get into making the Q school right out of the gate is pretty incredible. But I think he would tell you just as well as anyone, it's a huge learning curve going from college to especially playing at a higher level on the Webb.com tour and kind of learning what you have to do to get better. And this offseason, he has worked as hard as I've ever seen anybody. And, the sky's the limit for him. He's only going to, go as far as he wants to go. And it's just a matter of time before he figures it all out. And, man, he's got a great group of people behind him and helping him. And just really, really impressed with the work he's done this offseason.
Scott, I know how you view the Masters and where you hold it esteem-wise. You probably got it all broken down scientifically. What do you have to do to get into the Masters field this year? Is it simply winning, or with your world ranking, can you jump up a few more spots and get in? What do you need to do?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of combination. Obviously, win and take care of everything. I mean, if I, were to win an event, I'd obviously get in. But, really, that's kind of in the back of your mind. You go do the things you need to do. Everything else to take care of itself. But Nice to get back in competition. I started getting the itch a little bit. I watched golf for the first time. Yesterday, my good buddy Webb Simpson was kind of up there near the lead, so I was checking it out, seeing how he was doing, and starting to get the itch a little bit. I got my putter out, started chipping balls around my bedroom and stuff like that, so I'm kind of driving my wife nuts. So she's anxious for me to get out of the house and get back to practice.
So you'll play in the Honda. What else you got coming up?
I'll play in the Honda. Obviously, if I got in Doral, I would play, but I'm not in right now, so take Doral off, and then I'll play Tampa, Bay Hill, and Houston, and then kind of see where we stand from there.
Where is Tampa? What course are you at there?
It's Copperhead and Innisbrook, where I played really good my rookie year.
Nice. Yeah, it's my hometown, so familiar with it.
There's a big statue events there, and everything. Yeah. All the pigeons love to hang out there, and everything is great.
Ralph Weekly and Lady Vols, they didn't think too fondly of my alma mater, USF. Man, they beat them down in Tampa this weekend. But hey, Scott, great to visit with you. Really appreciate it. Good luck getting back out there and getting after it. And again, congratulations.
I appreciate you guys having me on. And y'all heard it. Jesse said he would work out with me one day, so y'all can hold him to what he said. And I think we've got a recording of it somewhere. So hopefully somewhere down the road we can get him in there.
It's not going to be pretty.
It's recorded, and we're about accountability on this show, Scott. So
I appreciate it. I want you guys to hold him to it.
We will. Thanks, Scott. Take care.